Okay, so we are week 4. Lagi another 2 more weeks to finish this course, to finish this module. I hope that, and then you have 2 more assignments coming up. Discussion, apa tadi ya? Some paper and also case study, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so make sure that you almost complete it lah. Okay, so today we are going to take a look at another topic in organization development and change. Today we are going to take a look at the unit 4, understanding the 4 principles of change management. Right, so this is a very basic. I'm just going to share with you some of the, actually a lot of examples why change fail. And then we are going to take a look at some tools that we can use in change management. And then we are going to take a look at example. We are going to take a look at where companies should heading now if they still haven't made a change yet. So what are the changes that they should be doing now? Okay. So before this, we have go through, if you remember, okay, this is a totally whole change process. The context of change, we have to take a look at the perspective of change, which is we have to take a look at what are the factors that drive changes, and then what are from which perspective as well. So if you remember, we talked about the external forces, external environment that impact change. Contoh macam mana yang dekat situ, market, legislation, all the pastel lah, okay, pastel, political, economic, and so on. So that one is the external environment that impact changes, that makes company need to change. And then we also have internal context. Okay, for example, the one that we have learned previously last week, for example, like for learning and growth, and then for power, then the rest of it. So for internal, maybe we have to take a look at the human resource. Okay, for example, like work relation, teamwork, culture, and then administrative structure, for example, like job design, work structure, work processes, things that can make our work more efficient, more effective. And then in terms of technology part, okay, the one that we use, our asset, for example, like machinery, tools, what are the technology resources that we have in our workplace? Product or service, so the things that maybe we have to develop our product to add more features, and then to enhance service delivery to our customer. Okay, this is your core business activity. History and culture, and for example, like the common norms that is practiced, you have to change the culture from the, maybe before this you have negative workplace environment, so you want it to change it into more positive one. Or maybe before this, your organization, you don't really have a lot of teamwork culture, so you want to revamp that and then make everyone work in team. Okay. Okay, so today we are going, and then here, another thing is in terms of politics of change, we don't really study the topic about this. However, we do talk about this during the political perspective, and then for internal politics and power as well. So we have learned about external political activity. If you remember, I do talk about the institutional perspective and so on. So there are some change that need to be done because of this external political activity. Okay, for example, if there is a conflict, and then which occur at various levels within and also outside organization during process of managing change. And that internal political activity is dekat dalam kita punya company lah. Okay, ini tak bermaksud always negative. Okay, because we are going to take a look at later how to be political. You as a leader, how you as a leader can become can use politics to leverage changes in your workplace. So when we talk about politics, bukannya maksudnya it's always bad. Okay, so we can use that to help us through managing change. Okay, so today, let's start with the substance of change first. Okay, substance of change, we're going to talk about scale of change and then defining characteristic. I'm going to explain a little bit, ada explanation dekat dalam ni. Okay. And then organizational time frames. So when I talk about substance of change, it means that the fundamental aspect, the characteristic when change is being implemented in an organization. Okay, so for example, like the scope, the nature, and then the implication of the change. It could be new technology that we adapt, okay, work processes redesign, maybe let's say in banking, for example, we introduce a new payment system like what we have now. Before this, we don't really have e-wallet being used widely. Tapi sekarang ni you can see the changes, businesses, one change that I can see clearly ataupun can see widely, instead of paying cash and card, now you can do QR code almost everywhere. And that is one of the, I can say that, okay, one of the good service if you have a QR code when display when people want to buy. Okay, because nowadays I think much of the generation they don't hold cash a lot. Okay. Ada juga, tapi we can see when we go to streets ke ataupun mall ke, people like to use QR. Kan? Scan tahu-tahu duit habis kan. Kalau cash tu kita nampak lah, okay, makin berkurang, makin kurang. Scan, duit habis. Okay. So another thing is changes to organization structure and culture. It can be in terms of that. Okay, I wanted to talk about the scale of change. So I have prepared here. So let's take a look at the depth of change first. Okay, for example, like this is different than scale of change. Okay, tapi tak apa. I think we go to scale of change first. Okay, so scale of change, boleh nampak ni? Should I make it bigger? I think this one is better, right? So scale of change is basically referred to the extent ataupun to the magnitude of change within organization. So it can vary, as you can see there. It can be very from the small thing and then to the biggest change, which is transformation, right? Major transformation, from the minor adjustment to the major transformation. So for example, fine tuning. Right, this can be like a small gradual change for like you redefine methods, policy and procedures. These are minor change, even though that this is not being conducted every year. But normally this is for division or department level. Kalau policy and procedure might be like organizational level, but you don't change the whole policy. Maybe you add it up ataupun you make it better, right? Add it up or make it better lah. This is just a fine tuning. We call it fine tuning. And then after that, we have incremental adjustment. Yang ni tak ada dalam slide, you can write it down. So incremental adjustment, meaning that distinct modification to strategy, structure. So if you have undergo restructuring before this, so itu dikira sebagai incremental adjustment lah, a little bit. You change the department, maybe is being revamped, tukar dekat sini ke, ataupun before this, we have different departments and then it will combine into two. So I have experienced this before. We do have, if I'm not mistaken, we have about 14 schools before this. And then after that, they just kecilkan only into 8 schools after that, right? So definitely structures change. We have normally in one school kita ada one dean kan. Tapi sekarang ni bila 3 schools combine into one, so we have we have 3 different deans, but reporting to one ketua dean lah, okay, something like that. And then in terms of management process, but this is not radical enough to be described as strategy. And then modular transformation referring to restructuring departments and division. So this is yang tadi tu like more into small changes lah. So but for modular transformation, maybe you do a little bit all restructuring everything about division. And then this is potentially radical, meaning that quite fast lah, okay, fast, and then level of parts of organization, but not the whole organization. And lastly, it's about corporate transformation. This is about your vision. This is about your orientation. The whole system. Before this, maybe you go to digitalization, and now you do. So throughout all the organization, okay, and it includes as well power distribution. Okay, so these are the scale of change that normally is practices in workplace lah. Okay, quite similar with this, cumanya this is what we call as scale of scale of change. Okay, depth of change. Maksudnya dekat sini ialah from this scale that we have, we can differentiate that. Let's say if you want to make a change, which one is the good changes, and then what are the changes that maybe it is it's not working ataupun it's not favorable, which is this one lah of the scale, and it should be not on the scale as well. You shouldn't sweat over the small stuff, right? So let's take a look at one by one before we go further into the four principles of change. So off the scale, everybody okay? The class is quiet a little bit. So off the scale meaning that this is a disruptive innovation. I'm not saying that disruptive innovation means it's bad, but it can be like a frame breaking, meaning that it changed. One of the things that I can say is it changed dramatically. For example, like the way that organization used to work before, ataupun the industry itself. Okay, one example that I can give is when in previous year lah, okay, when Apple changed the telecommunication industry by implementing smartphones, okay, and they are the among the first one that introduced that, and after that it changed the telecommunication, the media industry overall, okay, where we used like a one device, it's user friendly, you can bring it everywhere. Kalau compared to mobile phones before this, we can't actually access internet in our phone. We can, but it might take more time. But when we have smartphone, we can access internet, and then we don't really have to bring Walkman anywhere because we have everything in our phone. Before this, we have separate device to do separate things. But when we have smartphone, then we can have that in one device. Okay. So this is when Apple introduced its product, it can leading to a complete redefinition of mobile device. And then deeper, okay, so deeper is a paradigm shift, strategic change, new ways of thinking and solving problem. So this is kind of a deeper change, new ways of doing business, and then deeper, okay. So this could be one example that I can, if you remember, we talked about Netflix the other day, last week, where they make a shift in new ways of doing business. All right, still maintaining maintaining the same industry ataupun same nature of business by implementing new ways of doing it. For example, like Netflix, before this, they are the DVD service, video service provider, rental service. Okay, and then they change that into a streaming service. So they have a new business model. And they have a new business model where subscription is one of the way getting a profit compared to before this rental. Basically, it's the same but more digitalized, right? So this is a complete overhaul of their business model. They make use of technology, and then because of why? Because the way that to fulfill the customer engagement lah. Okay, sorry, customer demand, right? And consumer behavior as well, how they consume media. We do most of house nowadays. I don't think that we use video player anymore ataupun CD player anymore, because everything is we do have smart TV, you have Netflix, and then we do have like a Android TV box, kan, daripada Unify pun ada TV box, daripada and we have Android box, we have Apple TV, and so on. So no more, and then we can purchase if we want to, and we want to watch any movie, we can purchase from the App Store, from the according to the platform that we use lah. And now is deep change. Okay, deep change, for example, like this is, you can see change the mission, vision is corporate transformation over here. Okay, so they change their mission, vision, values, organizational philosophy, and to symbolize a radical shift in thinking and behavior, and change the organization definition of success. So they create new goals, new objectives, target, maybe even they revamp their own identity as well. Okay, because they wanted to have a new goals, okay, new objectives. So for deep change, let's take a look at one example that I have. One example that I have here is, so this is Microsoft change, okay, under a very good case study about managing change in organization, where this new CEO, Satya Nadella, under his leadership, so Microsoft implement huge changes, and then this can be seen, all right, in this deep change where they change their new goals, mission, and vision. So let's take a look at this article. Okay. So when Satya stepped into CEO role, the industry opinion was that Microsoft was on a path of being irrelevant. While Microsoft was an early pioneer in personal computing, it missed the mobile and search wave, didn't participate in the consumer social networking wave, and was coming from behind on cloud. Okay, so this is what happened. I failed to compete at this time. Okay, and then more and more people were not thinking Microsoft as innovative, and then it's underperforming stock in clear picture. Microsoft wasn't part of the conversation. Okay. So fast forward through under his leadership, 10-year run as top executive, and it has changed. From, you can see in terms of economic perspective, the profitability, business means performance, surge from 300 billion to 3 trillion, okay, rivaling Apple as the world's most valuable company. If you remember that I mentioned as well, I'm not sure in this class or in another class, they are started to have a lot of features as well. Okay, so now we can see that it's being competitive. Okay, it's being competitive with Google. People do talk about them. Okay, I remember growing up, we always we use Microsoft, okay, for our email, and then to search any information, okay, before we use Google. So Microsoft is one of them, MSN, right? one of the apa ni, memang platform that we use lah senang cerita kan. Okay, so under his leadership style, that is known as grounded, decisive, and empowering. So he reshaped the whole company culture, fostering agility, innovation, and collaboration. Okay, so strategic focus on the cloud, acquisition, and AI, revitalize Microsoft and propel it to the forefront of the tech industry. So for cultural transformation, reset the company to embrace a growth mindset. Okay, empowering people to learn and grow and focus on prioritizing what customer wanted. The impact of this change is it make the company adopted a culture of innovation and collaboration within and outside the company. So the first public announcement as CEO, Microsoft Office across mobile platform, even rival Apple and Android products. This was a visceral signal to those in company that were new, Sharif and Town and so on. Okay. And then cloud leadership. So most significant achievement, it has been Microsoft's scale and success in the cloud, in terms of the server business. And then acquisition, betting on AI. So early bet on AI that has paid off significantly in 2019. Microsoft partnered with OpenAI with 1 billion investment. There wasn't a lot of detail at the time, but it was clear Satya so promised and approach OpenAI was taking and integrate AI into application. Now everybody is talking about it. ChatGPT launched in late, any famous and everyone is using it, I guess. Okay, ChatGPT. So yeah, very bounce back lah. Okay, Microsoft, you can see bounce back from the OpenAI here. Okay, so that is some of the example of the change. Okay, change the change of culture, and then you can see from the case just now, change the organization definition of success. They create new target, involve, collaborate more on AI and so on. Okay. And next is sustaining innovation. So sustaining innovation meaning that improve business planning and symbolize a shift in thinking, tying it up on documentation, reporting, and control. So one example that I can give you is, for example, like PNG, okay, PNG, the Procter and Gamble. So they do focus more of their leadership, their top leadership, make emphasis on rigorous financial control. So in terms of documentation, reporting, they put a very huge emphasis on that. Okay. And then reallocate resources, grow some department, cut others, create new unit. Okay. Next is shallow change. Okay, so shallow change is fine-tuning. This one, okay, change a little policy and procedure typically at the level of division or department. So constantly nibble away, making minor improvement. Right, this one is a first order change. I want to make a fine-tuning anywhere. Small things. Okay, for example, like to reduce, let's say in your supply chain, to reduce waste, to make it more efficient. So that is shallow change, and not on the scale means that the small stuff that just create a minor annoying problem that nobody has bothered to fix. Okay, just grease the wheel. For example, maybe for example, like Google, okay, Google, they have a policy where employee, they are allowed to spend 20% of their time to project outside their regular responsibility. This is very minor, not really related to work productivity, but this can help the employee to make an initiative, to learn on their, to take their own initiative to learn and so on lah. So they could learn from various departments. They can take their own time to innovate something. Okay, so this is maybe in terms of improvement or change is very minor, but they do have an impact, okay, to the culture of innovation and so on. Okay, so persistent, defining characteristic. Okay, defining characteristic meaning that there are unique attributes, okay, to define the nature and then the scope of the change. For example, like we do have like specific processes, impact outcome of the change. So the things that we should consider in this defining characteristic is the first thing is I might repeating the same thing all over again, okay, after this, because we are going to learn about strategy. So the first thing is to define first what are the purpose of change. Okay, what this change intend to achieve, and then after you have setting the purpose, then you set up the scope. Okay, so which scope meaning that you try to frame it, which area will be affected by this change. Is it on the department level or division level? Yang kita belajar tadi kan, it can be department, division ke, ataupun only on small scale ke, ataupun throughout the organization. So the scope. And then the duration. Okay, duration, the time, organizational time frames. So how long it will take for the change process to be implemented from the first introduced until its completion. So that is the duration, the time frame. And then, of course, we're going to take a look at the impact, what are the expected, and then how to control, how to monitor if the changes really bring an impact or not. Okay, so let's take a look at general lessons first. Okay, when we talk about change management practice, before we go into why change fail, so let's take a look at this 8 general lesson concerning change management practice from the perspective of Dawson and Andrew Paulus. Okay, to 2014. So the first one, it says that here there are no universal prescription or simple recipe how to manage change. Exactly, because businesses, they have their own different nature. Okay. Sorry. So there is no simple recipe how best to manage change. It can be you have to come up with your own recipe to make this change menjadi, okay, to make it effective in your organization, because the resources are not the same, the skill, the need, the nature of business is not the same. And so one simple recipe can't fit everything. There is no one size fit all. And then change is a political process, and change leader needs to be political, sensitive, and astute. So I'm going to share with you later. Okay, I think that this is very important as well. All of you are leaders or might be a leader some later. So it's very important for you as a change agent to learn about this. Time, planning, flexibility are essential in changing all attitudes and behavior in gaining commitment for change. So you can't just expect your employee to receive all the changes that's going to be implemented. Okay, there must be a proper planning, and then a little bit flexibility from the top management side as well, and then time. Okay, so let me share with you what my friend shared with me yesterday about change. Okay, so when my friend told me the story, I was like, okay, good. I can use this in my class because I can see like so many things wrong about the change. Okay, so what happened was Okay, kejap so what happened was, in terms of the change, is that now in this story, so this university, my friend, she's working as a lecturer as well. So yesterday she told me about the management decided to use a new system. Okay, a new system. Previously in that university, they don't have one integrated system. They have different systems for different things. And then most of the things are still conducted manually in their university. So top management purchased um one integrated system. However, they have to learn. Okay, they have to learn how to do it, how to use it, and then they have to learn from two perspective, two views, which is the first one is as lecturer, as an admin lah, admin, lecturer, program director, and so on. And then another perspective is how student will perceive it. Okay, kalau you perasan dekat sini, to compare with our system, kalau I buka sini, kita ada student view kan. So I will know how it will appear in your Europe. And I also have and I also have this. I don't know what's wrong with my cat today. Very vocal and annoying. Okay, so I have this. Tak ada pula. Mana dia pergi? Wait. Okay, I have a test student here. Okay, so test student here maksudnya I can upload whatever it is as a test student, so that I can see as well how everything lah, how it appear in terms of grade, in terms of everything that is uploaded here, can, which is very good. You student ni tak boleh tipu I. Okay, I tahu how it will be appear in your Europe. Okay, so back to the story. This university, they don't have, tadi dekat mana? They don't really have like one integrated system. So yesterday, she told me that they went to several trainings. Okay, several trainings to learn for the new system. But what makes they angry ataupun they not resist to change lah, difficulty in change, okay, difficulty in using this new platform is first in terms of time. They don't have enough time. Please, can you please keep quiet? They don't have enough time to learn, and then the management expect everything is to be done in one day. Okay, so imagine if you go to training to learn a new system, and then you have to do like you have to import from the manual thing to now a platform. You just learn it that morning, and then your top management go into your room, the training room, and then say that, okay, now everybody has learned for about like 2-3 hours. I expect this to be done at the end of this day. But in fact, when they do the training, a lot of things is not there yet. Means that they are not learning about the platform yet. There are a lot of things in the platform that cannot use to cater their problem yet. So the system is not fully functioning at the first place to finish the task that has been directed by their top management. So they feel a little bit frustrated over that. I think not a little bit, much frustrated. Okay, so in terms of time here, you have to give time, right? In order for change to be implemented, to change attitude and behaviors of your employee, you need to give them ample time. So lepas dah gaduh, not gaduh lah, I mean, lepas dah discuss, so boleh pun bagi, okay, up until end of this month to complete everything. Boleh pun kan sebenarnya. So it will be so much beautiful if the management realize it from at the first place. Can or else people will, you will face behaviors, resistant behaviors, apa orang panggil tu, like if people wants to change, it's just that they don't have ample time, they don't have a flexibility to do so. So that is one example that I can give to you, that time planning and flexibility are important. Because you cannot expect people to change in a blink, right? We need to give time. We need to be a little flexible. If let's say during the change, mistakes happen, so we have to be flexible, not to be very critical about it. This is new thing. Everyone is learning, so on. And then they advocate critical reflection, challenging taken for granted assumption. Important to learn from both positive and negative experience. Education training development should be aligned with new operating procedures. So this is what we have discussed just now. Communication is important, right? So you have to keep on communicate, provide a clear direction, two-way communication as well, getting feedback from the employee side. And then contradiction, provide helpful for critical reflection, meaning that changes require constant adaptation to contextual circumstances. Okay, perceived centrality. Okay, for perceived centrality, meaning that we take a look at how central ataupun critical is the change. Then perceived centrality, meaning that from the employee side, they wanted to see how critical is this change, how important this change for our organization. Okay, so in substance of change, you have to communicate to make sure that your employee perceive that how important is this change. That's why communication is very important. You must give the rationality behind it, and then you need to give them apa tu orang panggil tu, clear objective. You have to communicate the clear objective of this. And then from the manager side, from top management side, you need to get the stakeholder perception. All right. And then when I say that, when you have to get this perception, meaning that really get, not on the surface level, yang mana bila you tanya your employee, how do you feel about this? Your employee will say, okay, it's fine. So that answer, it's fine, it's not enough. You should ask, okay, why do you think it's fine? So let's say if they say that, do you agree with this? Well, what do you think about this change? And then you keep on asking from the perspective how it can be better, how you as a manager, you can provide help to them. So that is perceived centrality. How critical that is, that employees view this, that stakeholder view these changes. Okay, lemak dah pukul 9. Baru start satu. Okay, so fail to change. Let me make it quick a little bit. Okay, fail to change. I think you guys read it here. Okay, but let's take a look at some of the examples, not many examples. I had pada kat you juga. So let's take a look at example. Okay, 50 brands that fail to innovate. You can see here is, but we have talked about this previously, some of it lah, okay, throughout the class. And then you can see the reasons. Okay, the reasons why they fail to innovate. Basically, lebih kurang samalah dengan ni kat sini. But this is real life case. And then I believe that we can learn a lot. For example, like product, we have talked about that. Okay, because they are so focused on the success of photography film that they miss the digital revolution, fail to keep innovating, and file for bankruptcy in 2012. We talk about Nokia, we talk about Yahoo. Focusing more on media meant they neglected consumer trends and need to improve their user experience. So you can see here a lot of marketing terms that is very important. Okay, user experience is really important, because maybe it looks so small to us, look like macam tak ada apa-apa, but it is actually, okay, from user experience. If you do social media listening, right, people banyak cakap compared with the apa nama dia, online banking. Okay, online banking system. So let me ask you, okay, let me ask you. Compared to the May CIMB clicks, Afin, I don't know if RHB or Public Bank got their online banking system, but which one you prefer most? Because I have heard a lot of complaints on CIMB punya bank, okay, mobile banking. For me, I don't really, I don't like really give a lot of thoughts in terms of online banking. As long as dia boleh QR and then make transfer, then it's okay. But some people, because of this user experience, okay, they feel like, especially a lot of people is using this online banking for a lot. So yeah, user experience is very important. So Yahoo here nampak dia punya fail to innovate is because they don't improve the user experience. Okay, so make app is good, UOB not bad too. So there are some when we make comparison, again, especially when we make comparison, so we know lah as a user which one that is more better. Kalau compare Lazada dengan Shopee kan, I think Shopee is so much better when we try to search a product. Kalau Lazada, if I try to search a product, not relevant. Sometimes the results are not relevant at all. But I like that when we purchase clothes in Lazada, we can filter up until the color of the clothes that we want. So kudos to Lazada to have that, but they really need to improve their keyword searching. Okay, I'm not sure about technology. How is it done? But yeah. Okay, so Xerox, Blockbuster, IBM, and the rest. Okay, MySpace. Siapa yang sempat ada MySpace? This is actually very good. We learn a lot of coding here, right? I feel so powerful in coding before this. To make sure that our MySpace page looks entertaining, looks beautiful, very unique than the others. And then Macy dah tak ada ke? Okay. So Macy thought they knew their customer well and wanted to keep their traditional store concept. Today, Macy's CEO Terry Landry is under the impression that shoppers prefer to shop in bricks and mortar store, but the numbers say otherwise. Okay, as revenue continues to build. MySpace lupa dah password. Okay, Hitachi, Polaroid, okay, camera dance. But this one now this trend comes again. Okay, this trend comes again, but it is not widely used, and then it's slightly different. Just for I think not a need, not a something that consumer use for aesthetic purpose. Yes, okay, but Polaroid punya trend is coming back. And the rest lah. Okay, so we can see like some of the transformation field, what makes some of the brand fields. Okay, so let's discuss about the principle of change management. A good change management practice should emphasize on 4 principles, which is urgency, vision, empowerment, and execution. Right? Apa lagi yang I ada example here? Okay. Let's take a look at this example first before we can go to the principle. I choose digital transformation failures, very good example and lesson, because this is what our world nowadays is going into. Everything is digitalized. And then at this in this article as well, it shows here example of digital transformation failure first, right? For example, at Target Canadian expansion involved a costly digital transformation that included supply chain inventory management system. However, it faced significant issue with the inventory management and distribution. So this one, I think maybe due to the lack of lack of skill ataupun it can be in the system lah, it really does not help them a lot. Okay, inventory management and distribution. British Bank IT migration. So this is a migrate IT system to a new platform. And then this is what we discussed just now, right? For that university, so they try to migrate from the system that they have into a new platform, one integrated platform. But there are a lot of technical glitches, okay, locking customer out of their accounts and causing significant disruption in banking service. So this one really, really bad because it affects their customer as well. And this is bank. So we talk about money here, right? And not to mention personal information and so on. So definitely this is a very huge issue. Healthcare.gov. US government launched a healthcare marketplace website, ran into technical difficulties and poor performance during its initial launch, affecting millions of users trying to access health insurance plans. Okay, and the rest. So let's take a look at why the reasons why this company failed to transform are many and debatable. Okay, so these are some of the reasons. Lack of planning and preparation. Okay, so organization, they do not adequately plan and prepare for the transformation, they are more likely to fail. So this includes failing to identify the goal of transformation and then developing a clear plan to achieve this goal and securing the necessary resources. So if you have a better planning, you have a guideline, then if anything happens, you can always refer to the guideline, and then it can really help you as a direction to achieve your goal. Poor execution. So it can be you have a very good plan, but when you want to execute it, you have a good idea, you have a good team and so on, but in executing it, you fail. Maybe because you don't have enough time, and then you don't really communicate it effectively. You don't provide guidance as well, right? Guidance to manage the change effectively. And then resistant to change, this is very well known. Employee definitely they resist to change for a variety of reasons, such as fear of the unknown, uncertainty about their future, or simply dislike to change, because with change, we have to learn new things, we have to adapt to new environment and so on. So simply dislike of change, okay? And then as an organization, you have to be prepared to address the resistance to change in order for the transformation to be successful. And it can lead to, it can also, it is also due to external factors, right? For example, like economic downturns. So you wanted to change, you wanted to do a lot, you wanted to make a huge transformation, but the economy won't allow you. Okay, everything is expensive nowadays, inflation. Semalam dah keluarkan inflation rate Malaysia. So the economic stability in our country maybe. Okay, so these are the external factors. It's very important to be aware of these factors to develop a contingency plan in case they occur, right? And then lack of vision. So the process of transformation can be unpredictable and directionless if you don't have a compelling vision and focus only on short-term goals. Okay, so let's take a look at the principle of change management. I think we have talked about it on the surface, right? For example, like urgency, vision, empowerment, and execution. I told you just now from the reasons to fail. So a good change management should have this, in general, this four principles. Okay, so the first one is urgency. So urgency meaning that you have, as an organization, you have to create a sense of urgency, involves making it clear to all stakeholders that change is important, change is necessary and imminent, right? This, you have to highlight about the need of change and then the risk of not change. You need to, you mesti kena talk about rationale behind it, but don't forget to talk about what happens if you don't change. Okay, so these are the risks of not changing. um, you have to tell, okay, your employee the risk of not changing. Okay? Would appreciate that change is not inevitable, but also but is being undertaken to safeguard rather than threaten their future. Okay. So some of the key aspect under the urgency is that you have to clearly communicate why change is necessary. You could explain whether it's because of the external factors, or to be competitive in market, right? And then they have this new technology, and then we have to adapt it. And it can be as well as internal factors. For example, like we can see, let's say you wanted to make transformation about the work culture to the work processes, because you can see that in terms of productivity, it has been declined. And then you have determined that there are a lot of efficiencies in your workplace. So you have to tell, right, the need of change. And then you communicate as well the consequences of not taking the change. Okay, for example, like our company might not be profitability anymore. We might lose in terms of the market share. And maybe it can lead to organization failure. Then we say that if this organization fails, so it will impact your work as well. Means that from the small scale means that there is no incentive at the end of the year. There is no bonus, right? And then worst case to come is it can lead to organizational failure at all those. Okay. And then for agency, you have to make this an emotional and motivate actions as well, right? For example, like that's why in managing change, sometimes companies, they do hire external consultant, external parties to help with this, because it's not easy to convey a message that is emotional, that is using a compelling message to motivate people to join and so on. So they do hire consultant to find more information to help them in writing and delivering compelling messages. Yeah. Okay, so next is vision. Banyak lagi ni. Panjang lagi kita pilih slide ni, baru 7 slide. So next is vision. So I think that we are aware what vision means. Okay, it should be iterative process where options are identified, and then organization consider its strategic options to bridge the gap, and in so doing refines its vision itself. So this is vision. We talk about future, the picture of what future brings after the change. Okay, so this is vision, and a good leader should be someone who is good, okay, visionary, can expect, can predict, and can imagine the future, right? So make sure if you have vision, must be aligned with organization goals, right? And then again, you have to inspire, you have to motivate, you need to make sure that employees see this vision as well, so that it can give your employees a reason to support and work towards these changes. Macam tadi kan, if you remember the things that Microsoft did, okay. So under Satya punya leadership, ada tak tulis dekat sini company culture? Cultural. Okay, so nobody is perfect. People do make mistakes, but the best leader recognize their mistakes, fix them, apologize, and learn from them. Okay. But yeah, okay. In Microsoft, the shift from the cloud, first mobile first strategy under his leadership. So this is this one, cloud leadership. This is very visionary from him. Okay, in terms of cloud computing and mobile type. Next is empowerment. Satu line je. Okay, so empowerment meaning that employees should be provided with skill and knowledge so that they are able to act correctly. Okay, yes. you want people to move together with you, but you need to make sure that they have the skill first. They have all the knowledge first about the change. You cannot let them work in grey ataupun they don't know where to go. They don't even know how it works. They don't understand. They don't feel it. Okay, they don't have knowledge about it. So how can you expect people to change, right? The first thing that they have to understand that, oh, this is why why this is happening, why this is important, and how to do it, right? If let's say you want to purchase a new system, and then you expect people to use it, but first they need to have knowledge about it first. If I click here, what should happen? If I wanted to do this action, if I want to do this work, where should I click? What should I do with this system? What this system can, how this system can benefit my current job task, much better than the one that I have this. I'm sorry, the one that I have just currently. Okay, so under empowerment, it also means that not only about provide with skill and knowledge, but it also means that you give them resources. You give them authority as well for them to take action, all right, to contribute in the whole process, the change process. So for example, you remove barrier. Remove barrier, let's say it's easier to communicate with you. So communication barrier is removed. You as a top management, as a leader, you are always welcome to for questions. Okay, you remove that barriers in communication, any obstacles that prevent employee from contributing to this change, right? And then as well as not only that, under empowerment as well, maybe you could take a look into, providing resources that employee need. Whatever policy, whatever rules or regulation, whatever work processes that is no longer work, then you have to remove that as well, because that will act as a barrier throughout this change process. Okay, and then training, very important. Training to provide knowledge, technical knowledge, and provide skills. And then encourage as well. When we talk about empowerment, they need to be engaged. They have to be committed. So engage, participation, and also ownership from the employee. Okay. Execution. Next is execution. So involve alignment of system and structure around the customer. Okay, this is the part where change the execution, implementing the change, right? But make sure when we want to implement the change, it must be precise, and then monitoring progress and making necessary adjustment to ensure that the change is successful. So what are the things that is important here is you have to develop a detailed change plan. You have to create a comprehensive plan. Yang mana kita cakap tadi kan, in terms of planning, you must have plan as a guideline, as a direction. You have to outline everything there. If you remember your term paper, it's a small part of it. It's a small part of it when I asked you to come up with a strategic plan. Again, strategic plan of change. So it helps you to learn more, but I will show you. I will show you now the mana satu dulu nak share ni sekejap Okay, I think I have to show. I have to show this one first. This seven. Okay, let me. Maybe I have to show to you this. Okay, when we talk about plan just now, so this is just an example that I found here in the internet from the city of Portland, governance transition change of management plan, but this is for the government. Maybe this is for local council, city council, okay, local government lah. We just go through. We just go through it. I became sure, so you can take a look at it later. Okay, so from the content here, we can see that what they put here in the change plan is preparing for change. They provide a plan overview and purpose. Okay, so try to recall back what we have learned in this class earlier. Okay, this past 1 hour. So try to recall back what I said. Okay, it's very important for us to have purpose, and then change management approach, vision, key objective, and core approach. Okay, very important for you to line this up, to outline everything in your plan, strategy, the leadership structure and roles, very important. Okay, identifying roles in change management process, so that you don't have a role conflict, you don't have a overlapping of role, and then everyone should know what are their responsibility throughout this change process. And then stakeholder analysis, risk management, and then the resources that is available and how to allocate them. So managing this change, you can see scope, right? We talked about it as well just now. We talk about here in the defining characteristic must have scope, stakeholder analysis to get perceived centrality, organizational timeframes, also scope. Okay, also scope the change we are managing, work plan, key activity deliveries, and timelines. I'm not going to read it. We are going to take a look at the content ataupun how it should be like, but not the content itself. So here what we can say, maybe we can read a little bit about the City of Portland embarking a significant change to our governance structure as we transition from operating under commission form of government, with bureaus currently reporting directly to city commissioners, to a new mayor council form of governments. Okay, so they want to change in terms of reporting, in terms of structure, and then in terms of new ways of doing work. Okay, recall back lah. This is which scale of change here. So under a new form of government, it will be responsible for helping the mayor manage day-to-day operation and blah, 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 lah. Okay. And then after that, this plan covers changes affecting employees that are occurring across several areas of work outlined in the city's transition plan, which include shifting roles and responsibility, budgeting, facility improvement, code reviews and revision. And here. And also have a staff planning to support 2025 leadership. So you can see here in terms of phase, in terms of the time. And ada phase 1 daripada bila sampai bila. And then for the phase 2, Bureau Management Coordination Review for 1 month. And then for phase 3, chart development discussion, it will also take about 1 to 2 months. Okay. And then after that, it outlined phase 1, how apa yang kena buat kan, to create a sense of urgency and purpose. So this is what we have talked just now, exactly like what we have talked just now. Okay, create an urgency and purpose. Lepas tu build a guiding coalition. So you have to assemble a group of influential individuals. So this is stakeholder analysis. Okay, you have to get other stakeholders to engage, to have more information about it. And then form a strategic vision. So clear and inspiring vision for the future. Endless volunteer change agent. Okay, so you have to recruit people who really want, who willing to change together. So this is a volunteer change agents, right? As an employee as well, if you think that you can see the changes is being implemented clearly, and then you are willing to learn, so I suggest you to be one of the volunteer change agents, because it can help the management. You will be a person who can motivate others, who can become an influencer, inspire others to join as well, okay, throughout the change process, provided that the change are good and then it is clear. Because sometimes, because if you remember what I said just now, we have people simply don't want to change for no reason, okay, because I hate changes. Someone thinks that he is Amitabh Bachchan from Gurukul, okay, don't like changes at all without knowing pun change tu pasal apa. So if we are the volunteer change agent here, we can inspire these people to attract them to change together, okay, because they do have reasons not to like dislike changes. Okay, the rest of it, if you take a look at here, in terms of communication, right? So peer leaders will communicate with a variety of audience, including directly and indirectly impacted employees, team and leadership. So nampak tak dekat sini, who are the messengers? So it's very good to, it is less likely that we have to come up with this plan. Tapi to understand, okay, your job here now is to understand why change is important and then how to commit, how to implement it if it's under your, it's under your role, under your task. Mana tahu kan satu hari nanti, okay, you are being assigned to deliver communication, to communicate with others. So dekat sini you boleh tahu lah, oh okay, so let's do this diagram atau let's do this role to identify who are the messengers, who are the right messengers, and then who are the right audience. Okay, to discuss about this, to educate about these changes. So nampak kat sini, the message ialah different kind message. You can see different messengers. And different kind of message, different messengers. And then audience pun different lah. Okay, for example, yang ni vision and benefit of our future state. High level, what, why, how, the change. So messenger is effective leadership and CEO. Audience are all employees. So we need to educate everyone about the vision, what we see in the future, and then why we're doing this, what are the changes, and then how we're going to implement the change. Okay, and then the scope of change and the bureau program benefit of the change. So because this one is scope of change in the bureau, right? So bureau specific employees in terms of audience, and then the one who should implement this ataupun who should become the messenger is the director, the senior management, and including deputies and so on. All right. So that is in terms of communication. Apa lagi? So this is a role to outline role. Information is able to be finalized. Okay. So here, Portland City Council role is accountable description. Council is also responsible for approving code, budgetary. So you tell the action plan. I'm sorry, the action item. Okay, the description action item ataupun your responsibility lah, what you should do. And then what are the things that you're responsible for. Chief Administrative Office, accountable and responsible. So Chief CEO, director to facilitate and manage the process, blah, 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 blah. Deputy serve as the project sponsor. Bureau directors and senior management consulted and informed. Make sure that it is informed, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this is the role. And then this is, siapa tahu ni apa? Siapa pernah tengok? The high, low, power influence, level of interest. Mungkin dekat dalam business mungkin kurang, tapi but I have one student who do this. She works for Petronas and this is actually one of her job. Pernah tengok tak this Apple? Never. Okay, so this is actually a stakeholder mapping. It is used widely in public sector. Kalau kita nak buat public policy kan, because I teach public policy, so we do this, the stakeholder punya mapping where we try to map stakeholders based on their level of interest and power of influence. So dekat situ you can see that we have low to high and high to low, and then we do map them. For example, like here, you have to, if that people have low power of influence but have high level of interest, so you have to keep inform them, keep inform the stakeholder. Okay, yang ni dia tak map ataupun jap. Oh, okay, sini. I'm sorry. Here, so these are the stakeholder. Okay, so these are the stakeholder. Need to make sure that they are keep informed. Tapi yang kena manage closely if they have power of influence, means that they have an access to influence to decision making. They have influence on hands-on things in making the change. Okay, so normally it's the top management lah, and then the approvers, for example, like here kan. That's why I say that this is mostly kalau kat dalam public sector, they do the stakeholder analysis, especially when you want to implement a policy. And kena manage closely all this level of interest, especially kalau public policy, we talk about the activists, social movements, and so on. All right, they do have a high power of influence. All right, and then they also have like high level of interest. This is what we call a stakeholder mapping. And then in terms of resources here, managing the change, this is very good, where you have key decisions, the set of role, the set of action items, and then when, the timeline, and then who is making the decision, and then group impacted by the decision, the impact ataupun yeah, you wanted to see the impacts of the decision, or who will be group that is most impacted by the decision. So you can see clearly. And then targeted timeline, you can see here the deliverables and timelines, case strategy, action activity. Okay. This is very interesting. But like I've mentioned to you, maybe we are not really going to do this, but it's okay. At least you can understand that, let's say in future, ataupun currently you are doing this transformation ke ataupun change, at least you know what should be there in the change plan. Okay, so these are the things that it should be here lah. Can provide guideline kan, so you can see okay what are the deliverables, and then what are the action, and tengok siapa punya kerja ni. Jennifer, did you finish your job or not? Kan, targeted ni 30 September ni dah siap ke belum? So something like that lah. And then all the people here they know which one they responsible for. Okay, so execution, kena ada plan, then that's it. 7 C's of change. Okay, choosing a team, crafting a vision and path, connecting organization-wide change, consulting stakeholders, communicating, coping with change, capturing learning. Okay, so far, do you have any question? Before we go into a small calculation, not really calculation for this, is really easy. Do you have any question for now? I would like to repeat again. Okay, so next week we don't have class, but we do have class on Monday evening, pukul 8 malam, 8:30 malam. So make sure that you attend. Monday ni 27 of May, we have one class, but we don't have class on the 1st of June. Okay, do you have any question before we continue? I continue because I'm sorry, I have to leave a little bit earlier to my office. Okay, so let's just continue. When we have we have planned already, and then we have take a look at apa tu, the principle, and now we do have tool. We do have tool to, but this is a very simple tool to calculate whether our change is effective or not, right? So one model, one framework is introduced by BCG. If you learn marketing, this is the same consultant ataupun the same organization that come up with the BCG matrix. So we do have DICE model. It comes from the acronym of duration, integrity, commitment, and effort. So we use this DICE model to calculate, okay, to calculate the score for this factor, and then we have the range. So if we if our score is falls under the range, meaning that our change process ataupun our change implementation is good, and if it falls under a certain scale, meaning that not a win project. Okay, sorry. Okay, so the duration. The first one is duration. The duration of time until the program is completed, whether it has a short lifespan, or if not short, that amount of time between reviews or milestone. So tadi kita ada letak timeline, right? In our plan, we put timeline. So from the timeline, we're going to give score whether we achieve that timeline or not, right? So in general, shorter timeline means shorter projects means that more likely to succeed lah, because change implementation is being done earlier, right? But the project, but if the project is long term, so it should have a frequent milestone ataupun regular review. Remember tadi yang kita tengok kan? If you remember, dia ada phase. Oh my god, my voice. So dia ada phase. So that is the regular timeline. Regular checking lah. You can ada phase. If a project is too long, so make sure that you have phase. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 until phase berapa pula kan. And then make sure the phase here, the apa panggil, time for this phase is monitored regularly. So that is duration. Integrity. Okay, so for integrity, meaning that the project team's ability to complete initiative on time depends on the members' skills relative to project requirements. Okay, so under integrity, it can mean that the willingness, right, the willingness to execute the change, and then it's whether you are capable or not, right? You are showing interest or not on changing. Employees, this one is for employees. Commitment by both top management and employees. Okay, the way that they are committed to do together. You can see that a lot of participation, a lot of things are moving. So you give scores based on that as well. Nanti dia ada score. I will show you how does it look like. Okay, the calculator. And then lastly is effort. Okay, the effort required that is over and above the usual demands on employee. Okay, so effort meaning that the additional workload that the change initiative impose on the employee. So meaning that, for example, that this extra effort required is not to overwhelm the employee, and then should be manageable. Okay, so I have put it here. The example of calculation. So let's say you make scale. Okay, duration, the frequency of project reviews. So for example, every 4 weeks, maksudnya regular, right? So you dapat satu score. Every 8 weeks dapat 2 score, and etc. Okay, from the scale. And then for integrity, capability of project team. So high capability, you can give one. Okay, this one, how to make sure, this one you kena ada you punya own measurement lah. Okay, you have to come up with your own measurements and evaluation to see whether your employees are high capabilities or not, high capable or not. Okay, yang ni just to give score je. That's why I said that this is a very simple tool, and then commitment and so on. So let's say if you want to make your own calculation, this is, let's say suppose the company is embarking on a new change initiative. So for duration, you come up with 8 weeks regular monitoring. So dapatlah markah 2. Integrity, it's capable but not exceptional, meaning that boleh lah but not too good, not too skilled, not too willing but not an extra willing. Okay, so dapat markah 2 juga. Commitment, senior management is supportive but employee commitment is mixed. Again, so you can give 3. And effort, additional workloads is moderately high, which is not good. It's supposed to be not to overwhelm the employee. So the total dice would be, you tambah 10, okay? And then, in general, a lower total score indicates a higher likelihood of success. Kalau higher score, the more higher means that greater risk. Markah you tinggi, lagi greater risk for your change implementation to be successful. Okay, tapi kalau nak lagi senang, ada calculator here. You can just put it here. Boleh guna juga kalau bila-bila memerlukannya. Okay, so just click launch here. And then this is the dice zone. So ada score dekat sini. Right, you can play around from the perspective of change, from your perspective dekat organization. If you have any implementation of change, you can use this and then calculate. Okay, if you are undergoing change as well, you can just play around with it. 3, so for example, like 7 to 14 is win zone. If you have much higher marks, then it can be worry zone. WOE zone meaning apa? Means that very high risk lah. Okay, high risk for the implementation of change. Okay, so for Edgar model, this is the 5 elements influencing change success. So this can be a good framework as well for organization to take a look at it. And then these are the factors. So you identify whether your organization, how to combat this factor, how to work together with this factor to enhance, to manage the change lah, okay, to make a change successful. Did I write anything about that? Okay. So for example, awareness of the need to change. The factors, some of the factors is, I think we have talked about this. Macam tadi kan I cakap the individual views. So this is perceived centrality. Credibility of those sending the awareness message. You have to identify your messengers and then the right messages to the right audience. Desire, this is the willingness, and then the nature of impact the change, the perception of the context of environment of change, individual personal situation, and then the intrinsic motivators to participate in change. So lah. Okay, lastly, okay, last part of this today is I'm going to talk about the style of change. I do have this. Okay, last kali, not very last. Okay, so style of change is collaborative, consultative, directive, and coercive. So from here, from the terms, I think that you know If collaborative and consultative, meaning that you ask your employee to join together to participate in making decision to the change which should be. All right. And consultative, meaning that you do give authority, but you act as a consultant. You limit involvement. You provide guidelines, you provide directions to your employee. Directive, meaning that you use authority in reaching decision about change and the future. And lastly is coercive, meaning that senior management impose change of organization by hook or by crook. You have to do it. This is a coercive. We don't want to hear from you. You have to do this. Okay. So there is one framework introduced by Steve Dunphy. We call it a contingency approach in managing change. So you can see here in terms of the scale of change that we have talked about this. Under this strategy ataupun under this approach, we talk about when to use this style of change. Okay, for collaborative and consultative mode, sorry, and then for directive and coercive modes. Okay, so we can use these modes when organization need minor adjustment to meet environmental condition, where time is available, and where key interest group favor change. Okay, so this is minor adjustment, not really involve authority. And then we have a lot of time to do this. And let's say this, for example, from employee part, right? These changes meet meets employees' new interest, means that it can benefit them. Okay, so the change strategies here we call as participative evolution, right? Next is charismatic transformation. We can use when organization make major adjustment to meet the environmental condition, but there is little time for participation. There is little time for participation, and when there is support for radical change. For directive and coercive modes, meaning that we do have minor adjustment required where time is available, tapi the interest group, they oppose change. They don't want, okay, they resist to change. So this is where you can use directive or coercive mode, which is forced evolution. When the employee is not, it actually their interest, however, they decline. So in order for you to implement change that can bring benefit, so it is forced. And then another thing is dictatorial transformation. This is necessary for survival, right? There is no internal support at all for the strategic change, but necessary is survival. Contohnya macam, for example, like retrenchment, kan? In order for the company to survive, then there is no other thing, retrenchment. Okay, but maybe you do give a little bit participation ataupun engagement where you provide voluntary scheme first. Okay, you do retrenchment, but you bagi voluntary first lah, kan? So these are the Stacey Dunphy contingency approach, which style to use in managing change. Okay, let me just speed up a little bit. I wanted to talk about, when we talk about dictatorial transformation and forced evolution. So, let's take a look at, kenapa dah hilang? Yeah, so I remember I told you that it's very important as a change agent to be political skilled, right? All of us, when it comes to change, we are actually a change agent. You can be, hello? Boleh dengar lagi tak? My screen went blank tadi. Boleh, okay. So it's very important for us to learn this skill, okay, navigating the politics and emotions of change. So in today's fast-paced economy, leaders know that their organization's success may be tightly linked to its ability to change and change again and again and again. So most executives have a portfolio of tools that they can use to developing their strategic plans and other hard aspect of making change. However, their approach to tackling the softer side of change, which is emotion, emotion and politics associated with change is often more unstructured. Okay, when we talk about change, if you remember just the previous class, when we talk about um, apa orang panggil tu, the what do you call that? Rational. Okay, from rational perspective, it is all structured. You have plan, you have a good structure and so on. But when we deal with emotion, with the politics, there is no certain way, there is no certain fact, ataupun you can't have a manual for emotion, right? So this is more unstructured. That's why it's very important for the change agent to be political about it. Lama, tak apalah, I just read it for you, okay? Because I can read it here, but I cannot open it there. I'm not sure. Okay, so let me read this for you. I just click. I mean, I tak create account pun. Tak apalah. Okay, so leveraging politics and emotion. The leveraging politics and emotion. So the first one is to map the political landscape. So under to map the political landscape here, meaning that like what we have learned just now is to take a look at the stakeholders that is related ataupun that uh, that relevant in our change process. Okay. The first step is working with the emotional and political dimension of change is the change leader to map the political landscape, the key external and internal, formal and informal stakeholder. I'm going to show you how it looks like later. And then identify the key influence within the stakeholders group, right? You have to identify who can be the spokesperson, who can be the influencer, who can be the volunteer change agent, and then this person can become the influencers of the stakeholder group, the one that can inspire, motivate, they can give more information about the changes. Okay. And then after that, the third step is to assess influencers' receptiveness to change. Everyone react different to a change. Some may be eager, enthusiastic, excited, and hopeful, but others may be confused, angry, and uncertain. So, as early adopter, the early and late majority, which later popularized by Malcolm Gladwell, often use analyzing external market segment. Okay, for example, like people receptivity to propose internal organization tends to follow the same type of division pattern. And so on lah. Okay, you can read here by yourself. And then mobilize influential sponsor and promoters once you have identified, and then you have to mobilize them. You have to make them into a effective change agent. And lastly is about engage influential, positive, and negative skeptics. Means that you answer to all. If the positive one, you show to it. Negative, you answer, and then you try to make people understand. Okay. Here is the mapping how to sekarang ni Zoom air semua dah hilang. Sekejap kan? Zoom. Let me check. Okay. So this is political mapping, how to guide, right? From this document, you can see there are some explanation, why is it important, and then the right way to map. This is what we have discussed just now, okay, in terms of direction, in terms of giving up-to-date information, and then it must be, you can see here, ada objective, vision, and so on, right? Make this as a tool for you to define the policy objective. What are the you can use the smart tools, right? The way for you to write the objective, and then determine the process, the relevant processes, and after that you have to identify the government. Macam yang cakap tadi kan, when it comes to stakeholders mapping, it will be more used in public sector, but it's okay for businesses as well. You can identify the departments that is affected, and then maybe from the national part mungkin tak ada kan here. So you can see maybe change it to internal or external, And then you line up, okay, who are the stakeholders, who's involved. And then rules and procedures as well. Okay, so here you have to create some kind of like FAQ, and then you ask yourself, and then you come up with answers for that. Okay. Timeline. This is the timeline, the calendar, and then identify the decision maker. This is quite similar with the role just now. Okay, identify influencers. Okay, decision maker, influencer, and so on. So this is how it differentiates within the plan that we have. This is to enhance our political skill, so that we know how to identify which one is the right person for this, the right person for that. Okay, it helps us to determine the decision makers position and also the influencers. Okay, so let's just go through the last part of the class today. I told you that let's take a look at what are the things that is available in the future, or what kind of improvement that you should be doing now. Okay, so these are some of the examples that I have found. 11 company improvement suggestion with major impact. This is in 2019, so it should be implemented by now, right? For a company, you should allow employee to have autonomy, okay, for them to be more participative, to involve in decision making, to be more commit, and so on, right? Giving autonomy occasionally leads to mistake or decision you wouldn't have to authorize, but it's not the end of the world. We can all learn from mistake, but if we never allow them to make, we cannot grow as individuals. Okay? Like Albert Albert Einstein said, okay, people who don't make a mistake, meaning that people don't try anything. Okay, they haven't tried anything. So and then make use of employee feedback. This is really important. Okay, invaluable resources. You have to listen to your employees. Yes, there might be a lot of nagging, complaining, and so on, but read. People say that when we want to ask for feedback, ataupun when we want to communicate, listen to the emotion rather than context. Okay, so let's say if people are complaining and so on, so listen to the emotion, meaning that frustrated. Okay, if they are not really frustrated, so all this complaining would not be there. So we have to settle with the frustrated feelings first. And then most of the content is add up from another. Then sometimes the root cause of the frustration is not being solved yet. Okay, so they know your company as well as you do. Your employee are completing the day-to-day operation in your business. They know what can be improved on. So listen to the suggestion and take their feedback seriously. You don't want a company who, people are very reserved. They don't want to talk anymore because they perceive that employers will not listen to me at all. So why should I speak then? Assist your team members in reaching goals, so teamwork, encourage relationship among co-workers, to create a culture, teamwork, to understand better, and then this is a very good step to enhance interpersonal skill at workplace. Team building exercise. So let me know if you want to do team building, because I have I do part-time part-time as a facilitator on team building exercise. In fact, last weekend, I tak dapat join because I have class, but my team, they do a team building for a company. Yes, okay, so if you want, you can please contact me, and I'll give the number to the marketing people lah, okay? I'm just a trainer and also the facilitator for team building. And then whole walking meetings, right? So regularly meet your employee, be flexible. If you recall what I'm saying just now, earlier in this class, flexibility is important. Okay, as long as you have engaged employee that working hard, you have to remain flexible when attempting to complete tasks. And then personalize the work environment. This could mean a variety of things, from giving a new employee small budget to decorate their workplace, and then to bring their own things from home to put up around the office, such as photos. Um, but some of company, they don't allow this, right? They don't allow this. This happened earlier this month, if I'm not mistaken. So, my boss said that to me. Before this, we have a hot desk method, kan, hot desk approach. But now, he said that in our office, we have enough table for everyone. So he said to me, Wawa, if you want to put anything, books, photos, you can put in your table because we have enough table. So now we can do that. Before this, because like apa tu, it's like a because we are working from home, right? That's why we don't have our own table. But in the main campus, yes, it is hot desk. You can sit where we are given like one room, and then you can sit there, but the table is not yours. But at my own office here, yes, okay, you can put personal things. And then celebrate the good, volunteer together in the community. Okay, so if your company is still not doing this, start, right? This can enhance a lot of positive environment. Okay, it can be as simple as gotong royong dekat office, or in the community. In my previous workplace, we clean up the. It can be like you go to the beach. You can poditsen, right? And then we do some activity there. We call people to cater food, and then we do volunteer, and then we do volunteer in schools as well, right? Just to meet them, meet the kids and so on. But this is for pre-COVID, before COVID. Now I'm not sure how it macam you nak pergi school ke apa ke kan. I'm sure that there is strict guideline ataupun strict restrictions nowadays for kids. But before this, yeah, we can do that. Okay, pergi school just to teach them here and there. The rest. Okay, so create a reward and accountability program. Have team members to create their own accountability program to show their accomplishment. They can track sales for blah 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 blah. Okay, so this is some of the changes that come. Small changes lah. Okay, I can see that this is a small changes that can have a major impact in our work culture. So next is how to stay relevant in business. Okay, this is good. You can download the PDF. Okay, to learn more about this is actually by PwC. All right, they have come up with a document, a framework on how to stay relevant in business future. Because everything now is moving to a digital economy and technology, right? So they come up with this. You can just download the full report over here. Okay, to explore, to learn more how business can move forward in their digital journey. I think this is a very good information for students to read, and then to try to reflect back like what your company is doing now, and then to understand if you don't manage the change personally, but this can help you to understand as well, so that in future when change happen, you could be a change agent, or you can understand better why changes happen, and you can provide feedback. You can provide a good recommendation to your company as well. So I think this is a very beneficial thing for you. Okay, so that's all for our class today. Do you have any question?
Yes, Miss.
Yes.
I'm Adib here. So, Miss, I want to ask you about the assignment.
Okay.
Yeah, I try to open the canvas first. Okay, so we can see for the what we call not midterm, we have midterm examination. As I remember, last week, Miss ada open until 25th, right?
Okay, huh? Yes.
I'm not sure. That one is what types of the examination or task are?
Um, let me open my URLs. Midterm examination, okay. It's due tonight. Kenapa?
Oh, so I have to answer and send today, right? The
Yes.
last one. Okay, okay.
Make sure you answer before 12 o'clock today. 11:59. And then also your case study. Kejap,
Yes,
let me
yes.
case study. Hmm, let me go to my phone. So case study, so far I have received seven case study to mark. And only 4 midterm, maksudnya ada lagi yang tak jawab. So if I go to people, I have 16 students, tapi if I'm not mistaken tak semua orang ada kat dalam ni. So I just kira yang familiar lah 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 orang. Okay, so 11 orang ni yang familiar for me.
Yeah.
Sepanjang yang always present, thank you so much. So
Welcome.
7 je baru case study yang submit. So ada 4 orang lagi yang belum submit case study, and then I have 7 more yang tak buat midterm lagi. So please complete it by today. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Miss. Thank you so much.
Alright.
Miss, sorry, another question. For the term paper, do you require the Turnitin report?
No.
No. Okay.
Anything else? Tak ada. Okay. So if there is nothing else, again, next week, tak ada class on Saturday. We have class this Monday. Next coming Monday lah. Minggu depan punya Monday, pukul 8.30 if I'm not mistaken. Okay. From 8:30 PM. So I'm going to see you guys on Monday using the same link. Okay, thank you so much.